Today's tutorial is how to build your PIM bicycle from the box.
Tools you'll need for this is a 4mm Allen, 5mm Allen, 8mm Allen, T25 torque wrench, and a 15mm wrench.
Use a box cutter and open up the box. Remove everything from inside the box, including all the cardboard inserts. When you're going to pull the bike out of the box, make sure you're grabbing from a secure part on the frame and the wheel. Never grab anything by the wires to pull on. You don't want anything to be damaged.
Grease the seat post. This will make sure that it slides in and out of the frame easily.
When you unscrew the steer tube bolt, make sure to have one hand holding the fork in because it will fall out of the frame. When you put the handlebars on, make sure the fork is facing forward and the cables are not tangled. Put the steer tube bolt back in and make sure not to make too tight. If it's too tight, the bike will not steer freely. There are a few different axle types across the PIM bike line, and it is really important to make sure that the front axles are tight. First is the typical quick release skewer. When installing, make sure that the lever is facing up and is snug in the closed position. Next is the Q-LOC through axle from Suntour. To install the Q-LOC through axle, put on the front wheel and insert the axle. The important part here is to make sure to hear the click noise when the axle is installed. This will ensure that it will lock the proper way. If the quick release lever feels loose when putting in the lock position, you need to tighten the bolt on the opposite side. For the Rockshock through axle, you will see that there is a little groove on the end of the axle where the quick release lever fits into. Use that groove to tighten the through axle in the fork. When closing the lever, if it is loose, use a 2.5mm Allen wrench and tighten the adjustment screw. Now when it comes to putting your pedals on, you want to make sure you grease the threads. You'll notice when you look really closely at the pedal that there'll be an R for right and an L for left. That stands for which side the pedal is going to go on the bike. When you're inserting the right pedal, you're going to turn it clockwise to tighten. And when you're doing the left pedal, you're going to turn it counter-clockwise to tighten. Again, really important here to make sure you get that right. You don't want to cross-thread your cranks. Tighten down the crank bolts on both the left and right side with the 8mm Allen wrench. Now when you straighten out the handlebars, it helps to do this on the ground so you can look down at the stem and make sure it lines up with the front wheel. Tighten the two side bolts once you get it in place. Make sure the 4 bolts that tighten down the handlebars to the stem are tight. Now you want to check the brake levers on the handlebars as well to make sure they're tight and they don't move around on you. Do the same with the shifter and the grips. Time to air up the tires. You'll notice on the side wall of the tire that it will give you a range of PSI that you can put in the tire. I usually like to go about 5 PSI under the maximum. In this case was 80 PSI. Before you go out on your test ride, go through the bike one last time to make sure everything is tight. Be safe and have fun. Thanks for watching.